Yes, people, what's happening? Nice one for coming back to the Fuse UK. It's much appreciated as always. Our next guest tonight, yes, he's a smoggy. We've got a butter boy representing Middlesbrough in the BKFC. Let's get it. Here he is, Ben Bonner. What's happening, my brother? You good?
How we doing, Lubby? All right, yeah, I'm good, man. Good. Happy, man.
Good, man. Looking fresh, mate. Looking fresh.
Yeah, a few marks on the face still. Got a few marks, few cuts, but nothing that won't heal up pretty soon, hopefully.
Custom. And were your hands all right as well?
Yeah, do you know what, mate? I came out really unscathed in terms of like long-term injuries or anything. Knuckles are perfect, hands are all right. I had a few marks. I had a cut here off a head clash in the first round, and some swelling on the cheek. But again, no breaks, no fractures, nothing like that. So ready to get going again, to be honest, mate.
Quality, mate. Before we get into BKFC 37, mate, just to let the people know, where did your journey begin in the fighting game?
To be honest, mate, when I was pretty young, maybe like 12, 13, there was a boxing gym on the estate where I lived in Groveville. Our mum and dad took us down there. I was only like 13 or something. I was there for a while, maybe a couple of years or something, and then I stopped boxing for a while. Maybe like 6, 7 years. I was just like training in gyms, things like that. And then one day, mate, I was in a gym, Middlesbrough, Spartans, it was called at the time.
Yeah.
Some lad was just running like a white collar show. And he obviously seen me. He's like, listen, you look pretty decent. We'll give you a few £100 if you want to fight this weekend. So, you know, me being, I was skint at the time, I was a few £100, happy days, take that. And I ended up having like, I think it was like 23 fights. 119 of them as an away fight, and it was all right, mate. To be honest, there was some good promoters in Newcastle, around the northeast who, you know, they used to get me on as a away fighter all the time. And I wasn't really, to be honest, mate, I wasn't really taking it that serious. You know, I'd have my pals cornering me. I'd just go up there. To be honest, mate, I'd go up there, win, take the money, and see you later, really. And then, to be honest, mate, I'd probably a bit late, really, but I started taking it a bit more serious when I moved to London about 3.5 years ago. And I got into a gym in Hammersmith, State of Mind Fitness. And from there, mate, like, I just had opportunity and access to good sparring pros all the time. You know, some good lads had been through the gym before me, world champions, things like that. So there was a good talent pool in there. And that, you know, I'd sparred good lads in Middlesbrough, pros. You know, and you know when you're at a good level. And it was just a case of like someone seeing it, identifying it, and you know, like my coach now, Adam, you know, he's took me to a new level in terms of my boxing ability and unlocking like the potential that I've got. So yeah, it's something I really should have took more serious a long time ago, but I'm glad I have now anyway. Put it that way, it's worked out well.
Yeah, and obviously you're a bare-knuckle fighter now for the BKFC. You've had your debut in that. Where did the bare-knuckle come along?
Do you know what it was, mate? This is going to sound off. So about 3-4 years ago, this is how off it was. About 3 or 4 years ago, I was in my mate's back garden, just chilling, right? And he's like, mate, have you seen this BKFC here? So he starts showing me on the phone, right? And this is going to sound off at this, so it's mad how things turn out. So about 3 years ago, I messaged that Nathan Shook, the matchmaker in America. This is about 3.5 years ago. I've got a message on my Instagram saying, listen, mate, give me a fight. I'll beat anyone at 70 kilos. And then, honestly, mate, as it come about, the opportunity, I seen someone to put on, and then the opportunity came about, and I accepted a fight. And to be honest with me, I can't thank the promoters enough, Andy Batewell, everyone else involved in the UK side of things, for giving me the chance to prove what I already knew was that I'm probably I would say I'm in the top 10 in the world at 70 kilos, especially in the BKFC. Nobody's going to tell me any different. You know what I mean? I'm going to prove that over the next 2 years.
Definitely, mate. So obviously, when you've had these boxing fights and things like that in the unlicensed scene, white collar, the day the weigh-in, you've gone down to London to meet your opponent. I know he didn't turn up for the weigh-in, did he?
Yeah. So to be honest, mate, what had happened was I was sat in my kitchen the fight was, I was supposed to fight that Jay Cuccinello, the MMA fighter, And the fight was arranged at 70 kilos. Now I'm walking around maybe 74, something like that. I'd got down to a sitting weight around 74. And my nutritionist, William's nutrition, had got me there on point, to be honest. But I'd got to so I'm sat in my kitchen on a Thursday afternoon, just talking to our dad about the weekend, about the fight, what's going to happen, this and that. I think I'm sitting at maybe 71 and a half, thinking to myself, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll be 70 kilos. And do you know what, mate? I seen Andy Bakewell's name pop up on my phone, Andy BKFC, and I'm in my head, as soon as I seen his name, I'm thinking, promoters don't ring you the day before the weigh, and the rest of the problem. Do you know what I mean? So then, obviously, I've spoke to him on the phone, and he said to me, listen, that Jay's just pulled out the fight. And obviously, mate, listen, no fighter wants to hear that news the day before you're weighing in, do you know what I mean? Like, your fighter's pulled out, and to be honest, mate, my head was up my arse at that time. Do you know what, mate? Fair play to Andy Bakewell, the promoter. He'd got me someone else. He'd shot a couple of names my way. Basically, this is how it goes. Yeah, he shot a couple of names my way. Few of them were like way too heavy for me. Obviously, I'm sitting at 71, looking at a fight at 70. Probably going to wake up at 70 the next morning. And then, so there was a couple of names put to me. A few things were happening behind the scenes and stuff. And so Jamie Oldfield, the lad who I ended up having a fight with, his name was put forward, and he was sort of the closest to me weight wise. And it was a case like, listen, I was 70, I think I was 71 and a half, something like that on the day. He said he's 72 and a half, 73. Do you want to make the fight? And we'll make it 73, 74. So I'm thinking that's a decent weight. I can walk around at that anyway. So I took the fight, and I'd spoke to Andy Bakewell over the weekend as well, when the weigh-in was, when we were weighing in and things like that and whatnot there. And you know, like, I have to thank him really, because when the promoters had sort of fight experience themselves and combat experience, they can see it from a fighter's perspective as well, because there was various things being put on me, various different names, things going on behind the scenes, like, would you fight this guy, would you fight that guy? And like, some of the names, mate, like, were good lads, good fighters, and obviously I know other people's fighters have pulled out and things. But for me, like, at that time, there was like, obviously there was some of the names were like 6-7 kilos heavier than me, probably 10 kilos on the night. And I have to thank Andy really for getting me Jamie, and you know what I mean, looking at it, seeing it from my perspective really, because I didn't want to just go in there just for the sake of it, just to have a fight, you know what I mean. I wanted to be able to put on a performance, show what I'd been working on with my coaches and stuff. And I thank him for that. And again, you know, with the lad who I ended up fighting, Jamie, respect to that man, mate, because he came to win. He didn't just lie down. You know what I mean? As you've seen, I think I put him down 5 times, and he'd got up for 4 of them and come back for more. So, fair play to that. Fair play to him, mate, for sticking in there and making the fight what it was. Because you know it always takes 2 people, doesn't it, to make a fight, not just one. So respect to that man. And yeah, so I was, to be honest, mate, it's a bit annoying, isn't it, when your opponent pulls out the day before. I probably think in my own head, mate, he probably knew a week before, a few days before he was going to pull out. So leave it to the last sort of day. Probably a bit shitty behaviour, really, but you know that's something he'll have to deal with, I think.
Yeah,
worked out well for me, I guess. Listen, either way, would have worked. It would have been the same result whether it was that Jay Pushy or whoever else, mate. He'd been getting knocked out as well.
How would you compare the nerves, like fight nerves for the bare knuckle debut compared to your unlicensed fights? Would you compare them totally different?
Yeah, mate. To be honest, I'd not had a fight in 4 years, I think it was. So this is my first fight in 4 years. I mean, listen, I've been sparring top class operators, top class pros. As you can see on my Instagram, you know, I don't like name dropping or anything like that, but there's photos on there with some very good pros who've won in the last few weeks, and I've shared the ring with some good people. But listen, mate, it is nervous, don't get me wrong, you know. But I was watching Gary Fox last night, watching his podcast, and he said it right, you know, when you're in the changing rooms and you're in that vibe and the lads are warming up, pads are getting hit, and you can feel the nerves, but you can also feel the buzz, the energy, you know. And listen, mate, I love it, man. I thrive on it, mate. Listen, there's no better feeling, mate, than when you're in them changing rooms, warming up, mate, and knowing that you're going out there for a war. And especially with Bareknuckle, mate, So it's the most violent form of combat in it, mate, and you have to love it, man. And again, same to Jamie, you know, respect for him for getting in there. It's a rough do sometimes.
So what would you say your game plan was going into this fight with you not knowing really much about your fighter? Like round one, did it go the way you were expecting it to go?
To be honest, mate, so I'd looked at a couple of videos of him because I know Jamie had a few bare knuckles in other organisations in the UK and stuff previously. So there's a couple of videos of him on there. And I'd spent the night in the hotel with my coach Adam, and we were looking over a game plan. You know, one of Adam's best qualities is he's good at identifying holes in opponents and figuring out things to work on. So we looked at a few videos, and to be honest, mate, my main game plan was, obviously I'd not had a fight in 4 years. So in my head, I'm thinking to myself, you know, I want to go in there, just ease my way in, find my distance, find my range, you know, pop a few shots off, try and maybe get some ring control, and maybe start dominating from the centre. I think it was about 30, 40 seconds into the first round. We come close and there was a bit of a head clash. Jamie brought his head up, I would just put my head down. And I'd got a cut here on the side of my head, and my cheek looked like it had a tennis ball in the side, man. It did put me off. I'm not going to say it put me off, but for about 15, 20 seconds after that, I was a bit dazed. So I was like, whoa, you know, what the fuck's going on here? This wasn't in the plan. So I started circling off and just trying to like get my bearings about me again. And I mean, I've watched the video hundreds of times, mate, since the fight, don't get me wrong. I still think I probably won the first round. I landed the cleaner shots. Technique was a lot better. But it wasn't how I planned it. I thought he landed a couple of shots on me that I probably should have avoided. And if I wasn't dazed after the head clash, then I probably would have. But you know, respect to Jamie. He came out firing for the first round. He came out fast, and you know that was his game plan. And for the first probably 40 seconds to a minute, it worked quite well for him. But I thought when the first round had finished, I went back to my corner, and in my head, I can feel the blood coming down my face. And in my head, I'm thinking that was a shit round. That. And the first thing my coach said to me when I got back to the corner is, "Decent round, Ben. Decent round." I'm thinking to myself, is he not watching the same fight as me here? again, that give me a bit of confidence, really. Like, do you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought. I didn't get dropped. Nothing happened. It was a clash of heads. It wasn't a punch. So, and then after that, to be honest with you, I don't even know what happened, mate. I just thought to myself, right, I'm going out now, and I'm going for it. And then second round comes. I went out and I'd landed a couple of stiff jabs. Started dominating from the centre of the ring. And then I'd landed a body shot on him. And listen, mate, you know when you land a shot like that, when you're looking at another man across the ring, and you can see it in his eyes, mate, like that hurt him. And then I started targeting his lower body. I dropped him twice, I think it was, in that round. And then after that, it was a case of you can punch someone to the head all day, and they'll recover in 10 seconds, not a problem. But it doesn't matter how big someone is, how tough they are. If you catch them right in the body, then they're going to go down. And when I'd noticed that I'd hurt him in that certain spot, it was then just a case of being smart tactical wise in there and sort of just creating openings to fire straight back downstairs. And every time I did after that, he went down. But like I said earlier, mate, fair play to him, because the guy's an absolute warrior, mate. I'd seen on his Instagram this week, I think I broke some of his ribs. So for the man to get up 4 or 5 times after that and come back for more, you know, fair play to the guy. He's a fighting man, isn't he? He's respect to him for that.
Yeah, definitely. And it just shows you how different it is to boxing, and that the BKFC or bare knuckle, like you said there, you were in the fight seconds and your face was out here. And
mate, listen, before I'd done this, I'd done so I'd read loads of different things, mate. You know, as you do, I read loads of different things on the internet. You know, and all I was getting from it was like, it's not as bad as boxing in terms of long-term injuries. You get more superficial cuts, which you'd expect. You know, more superficial cuts, bare hands in there. You're going to get cut. You might get hand injuries on your knuckles, whatever. So I was prepared, but not prepared for that, if you get what I'm saying, mate. Like, in my head, I'm thinking, you're probably going to get a few cuts, this, that, and the other. But then when my face is out here, and blood's pouring down my face, I was thinking to myself, yeah, I wasn't ready for that. But, no, yeah, mate, it's different. There's no doubt about it, mate. There's a difference in fighting with 10-ounce gloves, mate, or 16s, whatever. And then when someone's landing on your face with a bare knuckle, mate, you fucking know the difference, that's for sure, mate. You know you're in a fight, put it that way. You know you're in a fight, mate.
And obviously, you've been watching the BKFC now for, like you said, 3-4 years. How does it feel to be like a part of it, like a fighter for the BKFC on the
mate,
roster?
Listen, this is the fastest growing organisation in the world, mate. I think everybody knows it, mate. And you see the names that they've signed now, like going into some of the events in America and stuff. Mega names, mate. Massive fights. Mate, I'm thriving. I'm buzzing. I'll tell you now, mate. I'm buzzing. And honestly, to start it off with a win like I did, honestly, mate, I came out to the Butter tune. Yeah, and honestly, mate, like coming out with kickback and that team, like, mate, yeah, it was so one of my pals in Butter made the remix for us, Jordan Morgan. Honestly, mate, like there was no better feeling, mate. I walked out with that Butter flag. Honestly, mate, it was a feeling, mate, that would bottle that feeling for the rest of my life, mate. I'd be happy, man. Put it that way.
Crowd were buzzing for it as well.
Mate, listen. Well, do you know what? I could hear, honestly, mate. I could hear every single voice when I was walking in, mate, and the noise cheering. Honestly, mate, it's a feeling I'll never forget for the rest of my life. And everyone who was there that night knows they were a part of it, mate. And I can't, honestly, mate, I can't thank every one of them enough for it, man. I really can't, mate, because they made like one of my best fun nights fighting in my life. Probably it is. You know that everyone was a part of it, man, and. Mate, you have to thank everyone for coming, mate. Because I know I was listening to Guy Fox last night and a few of the other lads. And listen, mate, it's not cheap for people in Middlesbrough. You know what I mean? Like people there don't have a lot of money. You're not it's yourself, mate. You're from the borough, and it's like anyone who's going to spend that amount of money, come down and watch him. And some people I didn't know. You know, some of them were like friends of my dad, things like that, mate. I'd never met before. Some of them I had met before. There was a couple of me dad's close friends. Our mum who'd like been organising tickets and things like this, and like. Mate, I have to thank every one of them, man. You know, they were a big part of that night, of what made it a special night anyway. Mate, I'm over the moon, man. Honestly, I can't wait for more. I can't wait for more, mate.
How did it feel like the whole production, BKFC coming out on the stage, the American announcer, your face screen?
It's something else, isn't it? Like, listen, it's the BKFC, the way they do it, mate. Listen, mate, it's the most professional of professional organisations, isn't it? You know what I mean? You can see it from down to like the way the events are organised, the weigh-ins, private weigh-ins, public weigh-ins, the ring, the medical teams stitched up straight after the fight, everything, mate, from down to like the way you put in the hotels you're in, the way everything's organised. You know, you do this, you do this, you do that. The ring, the announcers, just everything, mate. The full production of it. Oh, mate, it was bang on point, Monday, and that's why, mate, they're going to, I reckon in the next 5-10 years, mate, they're going to be one of the biggest organisations in the world. And they're the biggest Bareknuckle in the world by quite some way, mate. But I mean, all combat organisations, mate. The BKFC will be up there in the top 2 or 3 of them, mate, in the next few years, mate. There's no doubt about that. The way they put the shows together, where they're doing them, you know, they're doing more in the UK, Thailand, huge in America, mate. And like, the platform for this sort of thing is only getting bigger. And I'm damn well glad to be a part of it, mate. And mate, trust me, I'm gonna put on a show, mate, for the Bareknuckle fans, that's for sure.
Yeah, wicked, mate. And obviously, in your weight, you're a BKFC fan. You're keeping track of all the other fighters, I'm presuming, in your weight. Is there anybody?
Yeah, listen, mate. I've seen like obviously they have the top 5 rankings, don't they?
Yeah.
I think you've got like that Luis Palomino, Chad Mendes is in there, that Tom Shaw. I like him, mate. He's very good. I've watched a few of his fights, mate. Very technical, very good. But you know what, mate? When I look at a lot of the fighters, and this is no disrespect to anyone, yeah? I'm not meaning this disrespectfully to anyone. A lot of them have got like MMA backgrounds, this sort of background. And when I look at a lot of them, in my own head, and I know a lot of people agree, I know, mate, my boxing ability is by far greater than a lot of the others. And I know some people, listen, at the end of the day, you know, when it's bare knuckle, it's different in it. It's not a boxing fight, and I get that. But one thing I know, mate, is like scrapping will get you so far, yeah. Fighting will get you so far, mate. But it's all in the name, mate. Bare knuckle boxing, and I think my boxing ability is by far levels above, mate. Some of them in the 70 kilo division. Now, I know in my head I'm top 10 in the world at 70 kilo. I know that, and I'm going to prove it over the next 2 years. And I think, listen, I know I've got the boxing ability to be in the top 10 in the world, and I also know in here that I've got the heart to scrap if I need to scrap, and I'll bang with anyone if I have to. So I know I've got it, mate, and honestly I can't wait to show it, man. Anyone who's put in front of me, they'll be getting wiped out, mate. That's 100% sure. Anyone at 70 kilo, mate, I'll flatten him.
He's fucking ready for it. He's ready for it.
Well, do you know what, mate? I had a conversation with Andy last week, one of the promoters, and I want to get out sooner rather than later, to be honest, mate. Because listen, I know, mate.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, well, to be honest, mate, that was something that we spoke about. Obviously, being close to the borough, it'd be nice to get a fight there. But again, mate, like I say, anyone they're put in front of me at 70 kilos, mate, I'm going to wipe the floor with them. That's one thing I know, mate. Listen, I know I've got the boxing ability, and I know I've got the heart for a scrap if I need it. So with them two things together, mate, listen, nobody's going to handle my power at 70 kilos. That's one thing I know.
So is this what you're going to do now? Just stay loyal to the BKFC and be a full?
Yeah, listen, mate. Listen. Yeah, listen. Mate, this is the biggest promotion in the world. Why would I want to go anywhere else?
Yeah.
Wow. Listen, why would I want to go anywhere else, mate? You know, like, this is the biggest promotion in the world, the fastest growing sport in the world. And I'm going to be bang there at the front of it, mate, sparking people out at 70 kilos. So I ain't go. I've got no reason to want to go anywhere else, mate. These are like, I respect everything they're doing. Even more so, mate, I respect Andy Bakewell. So after some of the conversations I had with him over the weekend about when fighters pulled out and there were, people were trying to put certain people to me to fight this person, to fight that person. You know, he was always impartial in terms of, like, when I put my concerns across about certain things, he agreed. You know, and he like I said earlier, when the promoters had fight experience and combat experience, and he's been in my shoes himself, he can see things from my position, and I have to respect that as well. So, mate, listen, I've got no plans on going anywhere else apart from the top 5 in the world in the BKFC, mate. That's the only place I'm going.
Yeah, so like obviously the goals is to chase the belts down, maybe get some fights in the States, and just go all the way.
Mate, listen, like I said earlier, I'm very confident in my ability, and I know that, mate, there's nobody I've seen at 70 kilos who's going to be able to deal with me. That's one thing I know. 2, you know, I'm mixing it week in, week out with top class operators in the gym, you know, and my coaches. Honestly, mate, the coach I've got now, who I've had, you know, he's been a coach in the gym for a while, but he wasn't coaching me directly until not so long ago. You know, there's a guy called Barry who owns the gym, and my boxing coach Adam. Mate, he's honestly second to none. He's lived out in Vegas, lived out in Philadelphia. He's you know, trained with some of the best coaches in the world. And he's passing that knowledge on to me, mate. And honestly, I'm improving quicker than I ever thought was possible, mate. And what I showed in that fight the other day, you know, that was only 50%, I would say, of what I've got in the locker. And I know that, you know, the better fighters I'm fighting against, the more I'll be able to showcase that skill. I can't wait to do it, mate, to be honest.
So, I mean, you brought the ice now, haven't you? Your first fight's always going to be a bit sketchy and, like, edgy. You know what I mean? But you brought the ice now, mate. It's all systems go, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, you know what? Obviously, mate, your first fight, you're always going to be a bit nervous. And like I said, you know, it was my first fight in 4 years.
And it's not as if it's just a fight, mate. You're fighting fucking bare knuckle against another athlete. It's not a fight in the street against someone or a fucking white collar boxing match. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking do or die, mate.
Listen, do you know what, mate? People, I mean, listen, I know it's a sport and I get all that, but there's very few sports, mate, where there's another man stood across the ring wanting to do you some serious damage. And listen, you know, when you've got gloves on, mate, you can sit on the ropes, take a few shots, you know, cover up a bit, duck and dive. Listen, mate, you get caught with one shot in Bareknuckle in the wrong place, mate. It's game over, isn't it? So you'd have to be switched on and prepared, mate, for that, for the full fight. But again, mate, like, listen, I'm not going to say I wasn't nervous. I was like going to the arena on the day, sat there. Listen, all sorts goes through your mind, doesn't it? You know, I had a fight before, yeah. Can you do this? Can you do that? What happens if you take a shot early? What's going to happen with this? The pressure of that. Like you said, mate, I'm happy I got the first one out of the way. It come with a win, a stoppage win as well. I mean, it wasn't ideal with the opponent. The opponent changed and stuff, and obviously I was fighting a bit above my weight. But I think that anyone at 70 kilos, mate, I'm going to steamroll through them. Do you know what I mean? And again, like even throughout the camp, mate, like this is the one time I've probably took a fight as serious as I ever have took this. Because listen, I'm not like stupid. I understand the size of like the BKFC, the promotion, what that can do for me, what I can do for them. And this is probably the one camp where like I've put my life and soul into it. So like I wake up every morning at 4 o'clock. I'm at the gym door for 5. Finish training, go to work, back at the gym on a night. And you're talking like this has been going on for 10 weeks, mate, twice a day, every day, 12 sessions a week, not missing one, literally living it, man. Literally like eat, sleep, repeat, as they say. And that's what I was doing. Do you know what, mate? Like, when you put your heart and soul into it like that, to come out with a win, honestly, I mean, I seen it on the video, like when they raised my hand, it was almost like the relief just left your body. Do you know what I mean? It was that pressure and expectation of like 10 weeks, probably more than 10, 12 weeks of solid work, where you're putting your life, dedicating your life to something. And it's, to be honest, mate, it's the best shape I've ever been in. And again, you know, I've got some sponsors there, like NGL Flooring. Honestly, mate, the things they're done for me throughout the camp, Rockcliffe Cars, Masterclass Talent and Plumbing, Savac Security, like all local lads from the borough who backed me massively, mate, and like the things they're done for me, like throughout the camp, mate. Like camps are expensive, aren't they? You know, like when you listen, when you're at this level and you're fighting on a BKFC promotion, you're at this level, and it's like, yeah, mate. Listen, you can't have no Humpty Dumpty camp, mate. Like it's going to be expensive. You know what I mean? You've got like nutritionists, this thing, these proteins, this training costs, that training costs. Like everything costs money, mate, and like they supported me a lot throughout it. So did our dad. Do you know what I mean? So like there was a lot of things, mate, where like I couldn't have done. I mean, do you know what it is? I couldn't have done it without like a team of people behind you. And I have to. I'm so thankful to every one of them, mate, for backing me and supporting me. Honestly, mate, it means the world to us. Like other people believe in me just as much as I'm believing in myself. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, mate, it fucking means the world to me. Oh, mate, listen, do you know what? I just can't wait to get back in there, mate. I'm itching for it, man. I'm itching for it, man. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
So you just your plans now, mate, just to get fucking back in the gym and just...
Yeah, to be honest, mate, I've got some issues. Like my cheek, I've got this cheek. Yeah, I've got some issues with it, mate, but I don't think it's going to stop me training. It's just I've got... obviously, No, it's just a cheek, mate. Do you know what it is, mate? I'll be honest with you, it just keeps filling up with blood. I don't know what's the matter with that. Like, no breaks, no fractures, nothing. I just, for some reason, mate, it just keeps filling up with blood. It's gone down today. So hopefully, mate, that should be all right. And then, yeah, mate, listen, 6 weeks' time, mate, I'll be ready to go again, wherever it is. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, I've had a week this week where I've had some crap and that, you know what I mean? To be honest with you, I've just been to a buffet about 2 hours ago. I've been talking about it for the last 3 months, man.
Can't fault you, man.
Yeah, no, to be honest, mate, I know 6 weeks' time, mate, I'll be bang there again. But I know myself, I'm improving every single day, mate. And like I say, mate, anyone the BKFC wants to give me at 70 kilos, I'm going to absolutely steamroll through them, mate. Because in my head, I know I'm top 10 in the world. I know it. Like I've seen the lads who fight in America, in Thailand. Listen, mate, I'll demolish every single one of them. Demolish them. To be fair to that Jamie, listen, he was a tough geezer. That lad who I boxed the other night, or I had a fight the other night. He was a tough fella, mate, and he came to win. But mate, listen, I'm 10 levels above that lad. And no disrespect to him, mate. He was a fucking tough fighting man. He didn't stay down, mate. Every time he got knocked down, he got back up and come back for more. And I have to respect a man like that because he's got heart. You know what I mean? It would have been easier for him to just stay down and just think, nah, that's not it for me. But respect to the fella, mate. He came back every single time and he was wanting to fight. But again, you know, I know I'm 10 levels above him, and I'm levels above anyone else I've seen at 70 kilo, mate. And I can't wait to show it, man. I'm fucking itching, man, Lou.
Right, bro. And before we wrap it up, mate, is there anything else you want to share with us? Obviously, you give sponsors, but if there's any more sponsors around, mate, do you want to give them a shout out?
No, do you know what it is, mate? It's just there's a few people, mate, who like done things for me throughout the camp, mate. Like obviously, like my sponsors, NGL Flooring, Savac Security, Masterclass Time and Plumbing, Rockcliffe Cars. To be honest, mate, as well, our dad, he's like one of our biggest sponsors, mate. You know what I mean? Like always there if I needed anything. And there was two other people, mate. One of our dad's mates, called Peter Pan. Him and another fellow called Jason Ford to help me out with a few things with tickets and things like that. Our mum had done a few things. And do you know what, mate? I just can't thank every one of them enough, mate. You know, when there's too many names to list in there, you know, like when you get up on this, mate, there's just like hundreds of people who've done different things for you throughout the camp. Obviously, my girlfriend's done loads of things for me, mate. Like, the everyday things, you know what I mean? And like, again, mate, my boxing coach, Adam, honestly, mate, the levels he's brought me up in terms of my boxing ability, mate, it's crazy to think, mate, it's just a short space of time. And I can't wait to keep on improving, mate. And listen, I know if I'm with this coach Adam now. He's going to take me, mate, to levels far above anyone else in the BKFC, mate. And we're going to go to the top. We're taking that butter flag to the top, mate. Mate, no mistake about that, Lou. We're taking that butter flag for the top 5 in the world, mate.
100%, mate. That'd be fucking awesome to see that, like, mate. The full of the borough. Anyone from Teesside watching this now, you need to get behind this lad. He's one of the only lads who's got the balls in the full of Teesside to step up and fight Bareknuckle. This kid you're seeing on the fucking video now.
You know that, Lou.
It's all about hard balls. They all think they're hard men, but they won't do it.
Mate, listen,
Bonner will.
Mate, listen, it takes a certain type of man to get it. Listen, everyone can talk the talk, mate. Everyone can talk the talk, Lou. It takes a different type of man, mate, to get in that ring with no gloves on, mate, and just have it out with someone.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean, mate? You need it in here, don't you? You know what I mean? It needs to be in here, man. And mate, I can't wait to take that butter flag to the top and that pig bang tune, robbing out at the biggest BKFC events, mate.
Yeah, mate, that'll be sick. Well, like I say, mate, we'll stay in touch. We'll obviously 100%. Be in contact all the time and that, and we'll do some more work together, bro, and jump on the podcast whenever, my man.
100%, Lou. 100%. Nice one for having us, mate. I appreciate it, brother.
Not a problem, Ben. Anytime, my bro.
Yes, man.
See you right, Lou. Ta-da, mate. Yes, people. Make sure you head over there and follow Ben Bonner. I'm going to put his socials in the description. He's going to make some waves in the Bareknuckle scene for the borough. Teessiders. We're going to the top. Good night, everyone.